Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our very first live virtual showroom. My name is Jim Arnott, and I'm the marketing team leader here at Enduraplas. Today, we're streaming from our manufacturing plant in Nitchie, North Dakota. This amazing program has been set up to cut through these uncertain times and allow you to connect directly with our team. Today, we're going to be talking about how to choose the right UTV Field Boss sprayer for your application and your size of equipment. So feel free to ask questions, and if you're viewing directly on YouTube, you can head over to livevirtualshowroom.com. That's livevirtualshowroom.com. There you'll be able to view this live stream and ask questions in the chat box. So with that, I'll hand you off to my co-hosts, Doug and Michael.
Hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining today. Thanks, Jim, for the introduction. My name is Doug Symington. A sales rep or a territory manager for Enduraplas here. Been with the company for quite a long time, and cover the areas of North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba. So cover a good area, sell a lot of these sprayers. Really looking forward to presenting the Field Boss family of sprayers to you today and going over some of the features. With me here today is Michael. I'll let Michael introduce himself to you.
Thank you, Doug. My name is Michael Symington as well. I've been with the company for several years now. Started off in production, a few years in production, then did a few years in inside sales, and now work on the business development side of the company. So today we're gonna go through some of these Field Bosses, as Doug's just said. We're gonna talk about some of the features, some of the applications, and some of the different options that you can get on these sprayers. And again, as Jim said in his intro, it's live for questions. So if you got any questions, post them throughout the presentation, and we'll happily answer as many as we got a lot of time for. With that, I'm going to have Doug come over and start with the Field Boss EcoLite, we call it, and we'll start going over some features.
Well, we're already up, Mike. We already got a question on the board right away. We haven't even started yet, Hardy, and we got a question. So we'll start with that. Do you have black tanks available for your sprayers? That's not standard feature. All the sprayers are built standardly with the green that you see here. That's not saying it can't be done. We don't like to do a lot of custom. If you were looking to do like 50 or 100 units or something like that, we would probably look at doing black tanks, but just for a one-off, probably not. It interrupts the production flow, slows everything down, causes a bit of trouble. So just for a one-off, probably not. But if you're thinking larger numbers, definitely contact us after, and we'll talk about it. We'll definitely get you set up with some black tanks if that's what you're looking for. Is that all right?
Yep,
Mike?
Yep, that makes perfect sense.
I hope that answers your question suitably.
We kind of stay with the corporate green color on our sprayer for the most part.
Yeah, just increases the efficiency of production, and you know, time is always of essence in production. So it's a big deal to keep things flowing. But so we're going to start off today with this with the Field Boss EcoLite. Before I start on the EcoLite, I'm going to talk about some features that cover all three sprayers. So to start with, all of the sprayers, all of the Field Boss sprayers come with a hose and a hose reel and a wand. That is not something that you have to order special. That comes on it when you order the unit. That's part of it. They have different lengths hoses for the different units. We'll talk about that as we go along, but they all do come with a hose reel and a wand. Couple more features. They come with a sight gauge, front and back. And you say, why two? Why front and back? Real simple. When you're driving along, you want to know how full your tank is. You can see it up in that one. And when you're filling, you're always standing back here. So you want to know how full it is. You're not running around. Just convenience. It's nice to have two. They got the little fishing bobber in there so you can see how full it is. Pretty handy. That brings us to the next point. When you're filling, here's a direct fill for your unit right here on the back. Take the cap off, turn the valve, snap your hose on. You can fill it directly. You also can completely drain out and clean your tank. All of our tanks on the Field Bosses, now catch this, all the tanks have a sloped bottom and are 100% drain out. So you take this cap off, you open the valve, and you're not going to have any water left. It's all going to come out. So you don't have water left over in there, which is a really nice feature. Now, a few more things come with all the units. We've talked about filling, so we'll stick with that subject for a minute. Look how easy this is. We got the lid of the tank is right on the side, right here on the edge. It's not up in the center where it's hard to reach. It's right here on the edge. Spin the lid off, take it out. You can reach in there, do what you want, dump your chemical in, whatever you got to do. But it's better than having to reach up over here. It's just right here where it's easy to get to. Now, one more feature they all come with. This is If you buy just a standard unit, we'll talk about some other features later that you can add ons and accessories. But if you buy just a standard unit, like comes off the shelf, they're going to come with this arm. This arm swings up around right next to the cab. Mike, do you want to crawl in there?
Absolutely.
Just show them what it looks like to sit in there and run it. And on this arm is 3 valve controls, 1, 2, and 3. Flip up and down. You've got your pressure gauge, your pressure control, but it swings right up here. You can see the driver's right in there, and he can control that. And the nice thing about having the 3 valves is that's going to take you to 3 ports on the back of here. Each one of those valves runs one of these ports. So what you can do, you can set up a boom on here, and you can set it up in section control, left, right, and center on these 3 ports, which you can control all that from the cab, left, right, and center. Or you can put it with a boomless nozzle and a boom, and you can set up any combination you want. But the beauty of it is you've got the versatility of 3 ports and three valves to run it. I think now to get back to, a couple more things. One more thing, just to, all the units come in either 60 or 100 gallon. That's right, 60 or 100 gallon. So when you're picking out what unit you want for your machine, know the weight ratings of your machine and pick it accordingly. The units are going to weigh 180 pounds to 190 pounds, somewhere in that range, empty. If it's a 60-gallon machine, you're going to put 60 gallons of water times 8 gallons. You're going to add another 480 pounds to that. 100-gallon machine times 8, you're going to add another 800. So you're going to be right up against 1,000 pounds on a 100-gallon, around that 750, 70 on a 60-gallon. Know your ratings, know what you can do. I always say a rule of thumb, if you're going to be in rough country, you're going to be on hills, go with the 60. Yeah. Just go with the 60, save yourself the problem. If you're going to be on flat ground, 100 works fine.
Yeah, just sorry to interrupt, Doug. I just noticed here we got another question as to, does it matter what quality water you put through this? Maybe you could just open that up a little bit.
Obviously, we all know the different qualities of water. I'm not an expert on water, but I do know that if you use water with mineral in it, it tends to plug things up over time. Certainly, obviously, if you're going to go with water that's not hard water, they call it, doesn't have mineral in it, it's going to be better for the machine. It's going to be better for everything. Going to be better for your nozzles, your tips, everything.
One point I would like to just add to that too is no matter what you're using. I mean, obviously, if you've got gunk in your water, it's gonna plug nozzles. You always want to protect from that. The other thing that's just a good practice for any sprayer, any pump, or any plumbing setup is once you get done spraying, flush it with warm, fresh water, and that'll just flush all that debris out of the system. That's
blow it right out. And what I see is guys that really maintain their stuff well actually pop the caps out, take the nozzles off, put them in a bag when they store it for the winter, take it right out, clean it out again in the spring, put them back on and go. It's just obviously the better you maintain it, the better you take care of it, the better the quality of your water, the longer everything's going to last, the better job it's going to do a spraying. I mean, that's kind of is that.
Yep, absolutely.
It's just going to be better all the way around. Will it spray with other kind of water? Yes, it will. Will it last as long? No, it won't. You know, real simple. So back to the EcoLite. I hope we answered that question well, but back to the EcoLite. The features of the EcoLite that are specific are this unit has the 12-volt pump. It's got a 7-gallon a minute, 12-volt pump. This pump is made standardly. It's a Delavan pump. It's made standardly with a bypass. And what that means is that you can leave this pump running even when you have all of your valves shut off. What it will do, rather than sit and burn and push against a pump that's not working, it'll bypass back into the tank so you won't burn your pump out. It'll work just fine. You can shut your valves all off, leave that running. But with the EcoLite, the beautiful thing is right up next to your cab is this on-off switch. And so you don't have to leave it running. You can just click it off, click it on. It's just as easy as that. This sprayer right here, particularly, I see a lot of people look for the sprayer when they're people that maybe have a harder time getting in and out of a side-by-side. Maybe older folks, people with an estate, retired people tend to like this sprayer because, and understandably so, it's so easy to run. You don't have to get out. It's quiet. It's super. That's a good point, Mike. It's super, super, super quiet machine.
Another thing, just to point out on the pump, Doug, how do we hook up the pump? It's got a cable running up here with 2 alligator clips for your battery connectors, positive and negative. and that's all you need. It comes fully plumbed up. You just hook up your battery terminal connectors and you're ready to roll.
Two clicks and you're going. Mike, there's another question on there. Before I finish this, why don't you answer that question so we make room for more questions?
Are the booms plumbed 3-way for that arm? Answer to that is yes. This boom is, and all of our fold-up booms are plumbed 3 ways on the 12, 20, 26, and 30-foot booms. They're all plumbed 3 ways, so you can run right, left, and center section controls.
But the thing about that is you don't have to do that. Like a lot of people will use a boomless nozzle and you want your left and right spray and put a boom on. It comes with a whole package of connectors. They're Y connectors, so you can connect it all back up together and make it so it's a single shot too. It doesn't have to be plumbed 3 ways. All the parts come with. Let's get back and finish this one up and get on to the other two so we get some comparisons. We're going to have more questions here as we go, it looks like. This EcoLite here, to get back to the subject, on this one, it comes with 50 feet of hose. And the reason being is not super high pressure here. Talking about 50 to 52 pounds. And you don't want 100 feet of hose when you're only pushing 50 pounds of pressure, because the longer the hose, the more you lose. Comes with this good hand wand on here. Everyone comes with it on the EcoLites, and good quality hand wand. It's going to spray you about 10 to 15 feet, maybe a little more or less. But it's going to spray little jet to a fine mist. Not going to spray a long ways, not going to spray a lot of pressure, but excellent for spot spraying. Got a spot right back up here, 2 clips, goes back on, looks professional. Everything is very well done, very well put together. As far as tying it in and out, a few more features I forgot to tell you about on all the units. Look at the pallet forkable frame. That is something that every one of my dealers and almost every person that buys one comments on. So nice. You buy a side-by-side, you spend $20,000 on it, whatever it costs, $30,000. You don't want to have it tied up with a sprayer all summer long.
I think, Doug, you just answered the next question, is how do you get it in and out of your unit?
Yep.
Any forklift, pallet fork on a skid steer, tractor, whatever, forks in and out.
Yep. Lift it in, go out, do your spraying. You've got 4 little hooks right here. Tie it into place. You don't have to worry about it. 4 little zip tie or whatever you want to put on to hold it in. Go out and spray, come back in the evening, lift it back out. You've got your side-by-side again to go for a drive in the evening, have a picnic, whatever you want to do. You don't have it tied up with a sprayer. Otherwise, that's kind of the EcoLite in a nutshell. Is there anything I forgot on it, Mike?
I think that was pretty good, Doug, as far as I can tell.
If anybody has more questions on the EcoLite, we'll be glad to answer them as we go along. I'm going to move along here, and I'm going to turn it over to Mike now, and he's going to tell you about the 365. Before we go that, we got another question. How are the tanks made? Are they blow molded? Tell them about that, Mike. You're pretty good on that.
Yep. So we are a rotomolding manufacturer, so we make all of our own tanks, and they're all rotomolded. We have no blow molded tanks. They're all solid, no seam rotomolded tanks. These tanks are made with solid color polymer. So in saying that, what that means is no sunlight can translate through the sidewall of the tank. So there's no algae growth.
It's black dark in there.
Algae has to have water, or algae has to have sunlight to grow on water. So with these tanks here, you've got no algae growth, which is an awesome feature. You leave a half a tank of water overnight, you won't have any algae growth. A few of the differences here compared to the EcoLite that Doug just showed you. As you can see, it's got a Honda gas-powered engine on it. We run all Honda engines. We love them. We've had no trouble with them. This one here off the Honda is running a centrifugal pump. It's a 22.5 gallon per minute centrifugal. So a difference in comparison is just that, your volume of flow. So this one here is really, really good for volume if you're going to do a wide boom spray path behind this one. This one here has got the volume to feed wide. If you want to go with a bigger nozzle tip or whatever, you got the ability to do that here. Another thing this has, it's an inline filter, and this filter is designed so that even if you have a tank of water here, it's got a check valve inline in the filter. You can pop that filter out. It shuts the check valve so that you won't lose your liquid out of the tank. You can clean your screen, put it back in and put it back together, and that opens the check valve and you're ready to go again. Again, all the features are the same. You've got the same 50-foot hose reel, poly hose reel, very, very durable. We've got the same handgun. Again, this unit is good volume for wide boom spraying and small spot spraying around the yard. If you've got a acreage or a hobby farm or whatever, this is an excellent choice for that, getting around buildings.
Mike, we got 2 questions here, if it's all right. Does the hand wand have a swivel? Yes, it absolutely does. You can see that right here. She spins around just like a dream. So yes, it has a swivel. And also, next question is, does every unit come with a hose reel? Yes, they do. The EcoLite, the 365, both come with 50 feet of hose. The Xstream, when we get to it, comes with 100 feet of high pressure hose. Like to go back to what you talked about here, Mike, about the wide boom span. This 365, I don't want to discredit, walk away from it too quick. This unit right here is the first one we built. It's still our right on our top seller. And the reason for that is this unit here, because of the high volume, you put a 30-foot boom on here. And for you crop sprayers out there or guys in big field arrangements, 30-foot boom's pretty handy. And I was on a call the other day with a big farmer that bought a couple of these. And the reason why he went with them with a 30-foot boom, he's in an area, actually it's up by Lethbridge, Alberta, and they get a lot of wind. And he can't spray a lot of times because it's windy and you can't spray the edge of the field. You're afraid of drift, whatever else. This guy set up his GPS so he leaves 60 feet on the edge of the field. He goes out with his 120-foot sprayer. He sprays the rest of the field. He leaves 60 feet all the way around the outside. Simple as that. He comes back at a time when he can with his side-by-side 30-foot boom. I think he's got a 100-gallon tank on his, and he goes out and he does 2 laps around the field. Eliminates the drift, eliminates the problem. This unit right here on a 30-foot boom, guys, if you're having trouble with drift, this is the answer to your problems. It really honestly is. It'll take care of the whole problem. You can go out and spray when you need to. You can spray a big part of your field and leave the outside 60 feet, 30 feet, 90 feet, whatever you're comfortable with, and just leave it so you can do it when you can.
One more thing back to the hose reel here. We have a little lock, steel lock, and that prevents your hose from unwinding. You're driving down the road. We all know how it goes. You pop your handgun out and it trails out down the road. This locks in position so that you can't spin free. So that's a really good feature too, so you don't run over your gun. We got one more question here. Does a 10-year warranty cover the entire system, pumps, valves, etc., or just the tank? So with that question, the 10-year is a registered warranty on the tank itself. On the components, we have a 3-year warranty from Honda on the engine, and the rest of the plumbing parts are 1-year warranty. So 1 year on the parts, 3-year on the Honda, and 10-year registered on the tank itself.
Let's go back and talk about that 10-year registered warranty just for a second, Mike. If you look on the front of this here, you'll see a sticker. And what that is, you got a 5-year standard warranty comes. You register this online, then all the information's on the sticker, comes on your unit. You register that, and that pops you up as soon as you're registered. Pops you up from a 5-year to a 10-year warranty. That's not just on these; that's on all of our tanks. All of our tanks are that way. So register your tank online or your sprayer online when you get it. Double your warranty. It's the right way to do it. Like Michael said, on the pumps and the components that we put on, that's passed through from the manufacturer. So whatever they go with, and then the rest of the units are 1 year. Real simple.
We got a question here that's, do you offer other boomless nozzle options? We're going to get to the booms and boomless nozzles
just shortly
in a second. We're just going to run through some of the features on the Field Boss Xstream. I'm going to have Doug walk through the options. Or
Matt, could you take that question off and save it and put it back to us in a few minutes? And so if other questions come in relating to what we're talking about right now, we can get it. Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
So right now we're going to talk real quick about the Field Boss Xstream. And I want to talk about this one because I'm pretty passionate about this sprayer. This sprayer right here is the, what do you want to call it? The graduation. We sold a lot of those. We sold a lot of the 365s. We still sell tons of them. We sell as many as we do of this. But we had a lot of dealers come out to us and say, guys, we want something just a little more. We want something with some pressure. And we said, hey, we can do that. We can do that. You know, we have the framework here. Everything's here. Let's do that. We come out with this unit here, it'd be probably a year or two after the 365. And today we're probably selling about the same number of the Xstream and the 365. So to tell you a little bit about this unit, it does cost a little more than the others. There's no hiding that fact because you get more features. So you're getting what you pay for there, of course. This unit right here comes with this Bertolini Italian-made pump, guys. And that pump has proved to us in the years we've used it to be literally bomb-proof. That pump is really, really, really good. And what that pump will do for you is it's going to turn you out just short of 300 PSI max pressure. what that's good for. This, like we talked about already, the Xstream unit comes with 100 feet of high pressure hose on the reel, and it comes with this really, really awesome wand right here. This wand right here is going to give you some huge variation. I can take this wand and put it out to a hard jet, and I can get you 35 to 40 feet out there of hard jet. I can also pull this back, and I can turn it down to where I turn out a mist here that's so fine you can use it in flowers. This here has the ability to add air in to the water when you're spraying a mist and make it vortex to swirl. So a lot of people in the landscape industry like this unit as well.
Just one point to that, Doug. That's one of the, in my mind, one of the top features of that, because with that atomizing swirl, we all know that a plant takes on moisture on the bottom side of the leaves. That's how the plant absorbs the moisture. So with that swirl and atomizing, it gets it around the plant in kind of circles, and that's it. You get a way more effective coverage on your spray with that.
I had an interesting call, again, to revert back to a customer call I had the other day with a gentleman, and was actually with a dealer and the grower, and he was looking for a unit. He was trying to figure out what one was best for his application. It was kind of a fun call. I was telling him, you know, one of my favorite examples, people use these for a firefighter. You know, when you're harvesting or when you're baling hay and you got a risk of fire and you got a tank of water sitting out there in the field, kind of cumbersome, clunky. Put this in the back of your side-by-side. Fill it with water, run it out where you need it. You're going to have 250, 260 PSI. You're going to get in there and you're going to spray that fire out. It's going to do a good job for you. Anyway, so I was telling the dealer and the grower about this and telling them about how it all works and whatever. And pretty soon the farmer says, that's interesting. He said, you know, I would like to use it to spray out the inside of my grain bins for bugs after they're empty. And I was like, cool application. I like that. And we talk along a little bit further, and pretty soon he says, do you think I could spray my cows with that? He said, I run a herd of cows. Could I? I was like, yeah, cool. So we finished our call, got off, whatever. The guy ended up buying a unit. The dealer calls me back like 2 minutes after the call. And this is the funniest thing, because I've been selling these forever. This dealer's been selling them for just about as long as I have. Dealer calls me. He's like, did you know you could do all that stuff with that unit? And I said, no, I actually didn't, but I do now. You know, so we're continually finding more uses for them. And the reason why I point that out is when you buy one of these units, you're not buying it to spray 5 times a year. You can use it for so many applications. So many. And that's
just
the thing, is
justify it.
They just continues to, and it justifies the cost of them. Anyway, so now I've talked about this forever. This, go ahead, Mike, say some more about it.
No. I just see there's another question here. Is there a way to have systems with Viton gaskets? What comes standard on here are the gaskets in the fittings and whatnot is EPDM rubber. We don't have one with all Viton gaskets throughout it. But just in going through these, like these units here can run, like they're Roundup ready. You can run liquid fertilizer through them. They are good for it. Again, a good recommendation is just to flush the system and pump every use. That way you've got very, very minimal damage to your setup when you're after each use.
To finish up on this machine, you'll see that this machine right here doesn't have an arm on it. Typically this one would when you buy it. This one would typically have the arm just like the other two. This particular one was set up for a customer. It's got some added features that Michael's going to tell you about. Anyway, just back to finish up on the Xstream. This unit right here is a really, really awesome unit. I don't know if I've ever sold one of these where the customer wasn't like, wow, wow. And so,
just going through that, I mean, like you said, Doug, we designed the 365 Field Boss first. And really what we did there is we went to a couple of our key dealers, and they went out to a couple of their key customers. They basically came back with a bunch of ideas on what they would like to see in a sprayer. And right then, that was quite a few years ago now, UTVs were coming onto the market. They were a big thing. A lot of guys were using them. We came up with this design. And this here just covers a multitude of things. But the only thing that it didn't do was give you the high pressure. And that's when we came up with the Field Boss Xstream, which Doug has just explained to you.
Let me go back one step. There's only one downside to the Xstream, and that is don't put a 30-foot boom on it. You won't be happy. The pump does turn out almost 300 PSI, but it only does 5.5 gallons a minute. So with this particular unit, with the Xstream, we recommend only going with a 20-foot or smaller boom. Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
So if you're looking to do 30-foot crop spray, go with the 365. If you're looking to do more hand-wand stuff, go with the Xstream. But this here unit, the Xstream unit, will absolutely handle 20-foot boom, no problem. Just don't go to the 30-foot. It won't do what you want it to do. So with that, Mike, I'm going to turn it back to you to talk about the add-on features.
Okay. Thank you, Doug. So a couple of the features that come on here, as Doug says, this one does not come with the swing arm control, operator control. It comes with electric solenoid control. What this is this runs in your cab. In place of the manual valves, we've got electric solenoid controls with the pressure regulator on there. And these three are running your 3 ports out the back, just like your manual controls are on the other units. And this here mounts up in the cab. You've got your master on-off switch, your pressure up and down pressure readout gauge, and your 3-section control, right, left, and center on your boom control. We came out with this when, again, we had the arm control, manual control. A lot of the UTVs are coming out with extended cabs, crew cabs, whatever you call them. That arm wasn't reaching up to the operator, driver's operator, so we can mount this in place of it.
Yeah, this and where this really shines, guys, is if you got a $25,000 side by side, enclosed cab, heat, air conditioning, radio, whatever else. You don't want to drive along with your window down all day long. Put this in there, adding a few $100 to it, well worth it. Keep it clean, keep it tidy. The other thing is, guys, for safety, if you're spraying pesticides, especially, you don't want to have that spray coming in your cab with you very bad. You know, I've been in agriculture my whole life. Most of us don't worry about it. I know that we probably should more than we do, but we don't. And or if you're in an industrial environment where you got HR managers that looking out for things like that, and they're going to watch out for that, then you're going to want one of these because you can leave your windows up and spray. That's kind of when I'm selling one of these. That's kind of where I go with it. That's when you need a electric cylinder. You don't, you know, in most applications you don't, but and we are seeing more and more of them sell that way all the time. I'd say we're probably up to 30% of them now going out with them, where it used to be kind of an odd thing. So now it's getting more common. Anyway, Mike's got more to tell you here about the.
So one other feature that this sprayer has, the other ones don't have on them. It does not come standard. It's an option, but in my opinion is very recommended. This is an inline jet agitator. So a lot of the herbicides now come in a granule mix, not just a liquid, and they require so much agitation to dissolve that before it's applied to the crop. So this here is just, it's constant powered off the pump. It's a jet agitator into the tank, and as long as your pump is live, it's live, and it's mixing all the time. That is a really good feature to have a constant mixture, and that's just for the few extra dollars that this adds onto the unit. That is well worth it. It just improves your chemical.
That's a very inexpensive add-on. Very inexpensive. I got a question on here, Mike. Is there anything else we should cover on here before we go back to the questions? If you have more questions, folks, definitely ask them. Please just click, go to the website there. I can't remember exactly what it was, but virtualshowroom.com. Was it www.livevirtualshowroom.com. Ask the questions, folks. And if you have more questions about any of these units, ask them specifically. We'll answer them. Right now, we got a question here. I want to buy one of these. Where can I test one? Where do I buy? Okay, so we got about 3 questions here. First one is, where can I buy one of these? We sell through dealers, and what we're going to tell you is that we have dealers most of the country. When you get out to the coasts, not so much, but all through the Midwest, we have got a pretty good outlaying dealers that bring these in large volumes and buy them in our pre-booking and whatever else. They keep them there, keep them in stock, folks. So we're going to send you back to them to buy them because, for one thing, you're going to buy local, which, as we all know right now, is a very important thing. Number 2, you're going to get good service because it's local. Number 3, they're going to have parts and be able to take care of you. So that's really important. Where can I test one? That gets a little bit trickier. Some dealers will allow you to test them on site. But what I'm going to recommend in a situation like that, go to our website, www.enduraplas.com. Go on there, and you'll see for every one of these units, you'll see a video of it in action, and you'll be able to watch it work, and that will tell you a lot. where do I buy? I think that's a third part of the question. Go right back to the first one. Give us a call. We're going to direct you to a dealer if we can, and we're going to have you buy from the dealer as much as we possibly can. So don't be afraid to call us, folks, when this is over. Give us a shout. Call our 800 number. Ask for a salesperson. We'll get you back to the next person.
There is some, if you website enduraplas.com, you can request a quote. You can search for a dealer. But yes, always feel free to give us a call. One of us in the sales team would be more than happy to help you out and do the best we can to answer the questions and get you the product you need.
So we're on to, they're asking to see the booms. We're going to go to that right now. So here we are on the boomless nozzle. Okay, this is the first one we're going to talk about. And the reason we're going to talk about this is about probably 80 to 85% of the units we sell of the sprayer units go with a boomless nozzle. And the reason being, they're so handy. This unit right here has got 2 individual nozzles. It sprays 30 feet total, 15 feet each direction. You see it's got 2 lines come up. What most guys do will hook this on the outside 2 handles, and you'll have your left and your right spray. The good part about that is you don't have to run it. You can run them both if you want to spray pasture, which it's really good for. You can turn it on, spray 30 feet at a time. But if you want to spray along the edge of your gravel roads, if you want to spray along the edge of your tree rows, your windbreaks, you know, the thistles and burdock, whatever's in there, you want to spray in there, you can just drive along and spray just one nozzle.
Yep.
Or if you want to spray one application I really like for it, you got cows in a pasture, spray along your fence with Roundup, brown out that, and you don't have to worry about it shorting out and cows getting out. You just turn on one nozzle and drive along, and it just does it so nice and easy.
Yep.
So that's kind of the boomless nozzle in a nutshell.
Yep. And you, like Doug said, you can run right or left side. And the other thing that they do is these nozzles are on a swivel. So you can, if you don't want to go out 15 feet, you can swivel that nozzle down and decrease your width pattern.
And the boomless nozzle, every one of the frames comes with it set right up so it mounts right solid on the frame. It's 2 bolts and it bolts right to the frame.
It does not come standard with the sprayer. The sprayer comes plumbed up as you see it, and then the boom options are add-ons.
We got a question. We lost a question there real quick. Can you interchange the hand wands on the hoses? Well, you really can't, because the one on the Xstream takes a certain amount of pressure to run it. Mm-hmm. Both of those units, the EcoLite and the Field Boss 365, both run about 57 psi, 55 to 57. Not going to be enough to run this wand. So I wouldn't try to put the wand from the Xstream. I wouldn't try to put that onto those 2 units. I don't think you'd be happy with that.
Reason, just to add to what Doug just said, with this unit here being lower pressure, that it doesn't give that same atomizing effect. You've got to have that pressure to get the circular atomizing effect. So
let's move on now to the booms. We're going to start with this 12-foot. Michael will tell you about the 12-foot steel boom.
So this is one of our smaller fold-up booms. This here is a 12-foot steel boom, as we call it. It actually sprays a 13-foot pattern. These here are really, really neat because, as you see, when it's folded up, it's nice and narrow. It fits. It's tucked right in the UTV. It doesn't stick out the sides. It's nice. It's a compact fit. It's nice and tight and snug. Easy to unfold. And when it's unfolded, if you can see this here, this bar here is in front of your plumbing. So if you're to hit a fence post or a telephone pole or something as you're spraying along, it's going to hit this and protect your plumbing. It's not going to bust up your plumbing as you hit it. The other thing that this has is a spring-loaded option. So when you hit that post, it's gonna hit that boom, swing it back, and when you go around, you'll be right back in action. One of the questions we got on here is what type of nozzles are on these booms. These booms all come standard with a T-jet nozzle, and we use a 0.2 yellow tip T-jet nozzle. It's a 0.2 gallon per minute tip. That comes standard on all our boom sprayers. But in saying that, that's what we put out standard. It's a nice middle of the road option, but you can, any T-jet nozzles just adapts to this. So you just pop the cap off, switch out the nozzle, and you're good to go. Another thing I want to point out with the nozzles here is the nozzle bodies are an anti-drip nozzle. Mm-hmm. So there's a rubber diaphragm in there which shuts off when you shut your power off to your boom. It closes the tip off so it doesn't drip out. And then when you kick your power back on, once you get over, I think it's about 10 or 15 psi or something, it opens that rubber diaphragm and allows the spray to come out. So it's anti-drip T-jet nozzle.
From a sales standpoint, one of the biggest questions I get when I tell people they should get a set of booms for these, they say, oh, I don't like booms because they catch on everything. Well, if you take a good look at this, folks, it's about 3 inches narrower on both sides when it's folded up than the actual back of the side-by-side. So you're not going to have to worry about catching. That's why I really like this boom. The other thing people say is, oh, they bang and they rattle back there. I don't like that. There's no bang and rattle. When that thing's folded up, it is tight as a tick. And you're going to like that. You're going to like that boom. That's what I usually tell guys when they ask me for my recommendation. I say, buy a Field Boss, whichever one fits your needs. Put a 12-foot boom, put a boomless nozzle on. Put this to your middle port so you can run the whole thing. Put that to your outsides. Had an older fella tell me one time at a farm show, he bought one of these from me. He said, I need them both because he said, spray my pasture with that. And he said, I can spray around Ma's flowers with the 12-foot because you're going to have a little better precision. So I thought that was it was a homely way to put it, but I thought it was a good way to put it.
And that's good what you point out, Doug, because can this take the boom and boomless? Absolutely it does. The boomless bolts right on here. It sticks out beyond the boom. So if you want to fold this up and run the boomless, you can. Another thing I wanted to point out real quick was you see these slide bars here. This boom is in all the way down position, but you got about a foot of height adjustment on that. Now, a question that comes up a lot is what height do I run my spray bar at? Your optimum height for a spray bar is the same distance as your tip to tip width. So these ones here are at a 20-inch center to center. So your optimum spray height is 20 inches off the turf. So just remember that your tip to tip should be the same as your height off the turf, and that's where you get your the best coverage on the turf.
You talked about these brackets on the back of here. Point them out one more time. Every one of these units we sell comes with these brackets. These brackets don't come with the booms. You don't have to special order them separate. They come with the sprayer. So every sprayer comes with a set of these boom mount brackets. So they're ready to go for you. What happens if I hit a tree or post? We did go over that a little bit, but you'll see, folks, right here, you hit a tree with this right here, it's going to swing back, it's going to ride around it, and it's going to spring back in place unless it over centers. If it over centers, it's going to snap back, and then you're going to have to get off and set it back out. But it's set up real simple. That boom was designed very, very well, and you'll learn to love that boom. We should move on here to the mic to tell them about the 20-foot, the 30-foot, and the 26-foot booms.
Yeah. So right here you have, this is a 20-foot steel boom. So basically this here, it's a wider main frame. It's I think that 12-foot we just talked about, it's a 5-foot in the center. This one's 7-foot across the center. And then the booms fold up in an X brace. This one has the same nozzle bodies, same T-jet tips, and it also has the same feature of having the steel pipe in front of the plumbing. So if you are to hit a tree or post, you're going to hit the steel, not the plumbing. And like the other one, this one does have the spring-loaded breakaway boom option on it. Now, on our 20, 26, and 30-foot options, they all come with the same 20-foot boom. And then you can add a wing tip that bolts on here and folds over, cradles in here. And those wing tips is what extends it to a 26 or 30 foot.
You'll either get two 3-footers or two 5-footers, and that's what'll take you out to 26 or 30 feet. So regardless which one of the 3 booms you're going to order, you're going to get this unit right here, this 20-foot, and then you're going to get either two 3-foot or two 5-foot extensions to make it 26 or 30. That's how they're going to come. So the booms are really straightforward. They use the same nozzles we do on this one. We got the same breakaway. Everything is the same that way. One more thing I'd like to touch on real quick, the packaging. That's how they come packaged. They come in a weather-tight container, come in a wood frame on a pallet. We've done the very best job we can of putting together a good packaging system. Yes, we still get a few damage problems in shipping. There's nothing we can do about that, but the numbers of damage problems in shipping has gone down very, very, very much since we've gone to this kind of a package. With that, folks, I really don't have a lot more to tell you. I'd love to be able to actually demonstrate one of these for you because I think like we've done at farm shows, we've set 3 up side by side like this and run them all 3. and people just absolutely love it. But we can't do that today because of the way things are in the world. But we want to thank each and every one of you for coming out today, guys and gals. Appreciate it so much. Just been really fun to show you this product line. Just want to tell you one more time, go to the website, www.enduraplas.com, and watch the videos. Also, call us, and we'll set you up with your closest dealer. Do the best job we can. If you have more questions that didn't get answered, I see there was questions that came on and off that we didn't get to. If you have questions, call. We'll do our best. Me and Michael, we got a whole team here with us as well. And great team here. They'll do a great job. With that, I want to thank you all for watching. God bless each and every one of you. Keep safe and healthy, folks. Appreciate it so much.
Take care. Thank you.
On behalf of the whole Enduraplas team, I want to genuinely thank you all for joining our very first virtual live showroom. So like they already said, if you have any more questions, definitely go to enduraplas.com or reach out to your nearest dealer, and we'll be glad to help you out. So with that, I'd like to say definitely subscribe to the channel below so that you can get notified for our further live streaming. We'd be happy to have you jump on our next session. So thank you very much and have a great day.